Hi there, Rick Davidson, author of Online Dating for Underdogs, and in this video I'm going to share with you the number one critical, most important criteria for women when determining whether or not they will meet up for a guy on a date. And you know what, it wasn't what I thought it would be. This is something that through my research and through my reading and through my conversations, I came across a couple of studies that showed what it is that women, what's first, what's top of their list before anything else happens. What's the most important thing? And the most important thing for women is safety, feeling safe. I'm like, of course it is. I thought it was, you know, before I read that, before I dug into this research, I thought it was things like finding a guy who's funny, like laughing a lot. It's super important. All women say, you know, I want a guy who's got a sense of humor. It's important, but it's not the number one. I thought, you know, being physically attracted to a guy, yeah, that's important, but that's not the number one. The number one thing is feeling safe. If a woman feels even slightly unsafe, she won't go on a date with you. And it's very different for women than it is with guys. Like, for us, if I had a woman who was like, you know, obsessed about me and maybe wanting to hang out with me all the time and wanting to, you know, come around to my place late at night, I'd be flattered. I'd take it as a big compliment, and it's a little bit weird, but as a guy, I'd feel very comfortable saying, oh, you know, thanks, I'm not interested. But women feel, you know, more threatened than that. There's guys out there who are just frankly creepy and weird and dangerous, and it's not you and I. It's not you. I'm pretty sure it's not me. But there's guys out there, and they give guys a bad reputation. So this is what women are thinking about. And if you accidentally push a button that triggers her radar, if she smells or is a little bit worried about safety with you, then she'll be like, no, we're not meeting up. Just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to theirs. The media tells too many stories about bad things happening to women that if they get even a sniff of it, they won't meet up with you, and rightly so. Why would they take a risk? There's tons of other guys. So here's some things that that you can do to make sure you're not one of those guys who is like, you know, spamming women saying, you look hot, baby, let's meet up and have a good time, because they're like, those guys give us a bad reputation as well. So here are some things that are a little bit more subtle that you should not do, you should avoid, or you should do, should or shouldn't do. So the first one is, it's a pretty obvious one, but remove all references, subtle or overt or whatever, all references to anything to do with physical violence, to guns, to arguing, to fighting, to confrontations. Like, just get rid of all of it. Don't have any of it, even as a joke. Don't have anything in there at all. Like, don't talk about your gun collection. Don't talk about, you know, the fights that you go and watch. Don't talk about watching UFC, Ultimate Fighter. Don't talk about any stuff that women might think, this guy might be a bit aggressive. Okay. Negativity. Make sure you go through your profile and look at your email communications and anything else that you have, and remove all negativity and just have positive. Have everything worded in the positive. Talk about, I like this and this is good, and I enjoy that, and these are good times and this is very interesting. You just don't want to be talking about this is no good and I'd prefer not that, and don't talk to me if it's this. As soon as you have that negativity, then you get this aura of negativity around you that women start to think, oh, I don't know about this guy. He seems to have a little bit of hate in his life. He seems to have a little bit of angst or a little bit of aggression. And there's guys out there who are lonely guys doing their best at dating that don't realize that this angst is coming through in their profile, and that's a lot of the reason why women don't want to meet up with them. Okay, and then I've talked about this in a few of my videos, but you've got to remove, let me just adjust my camera, you've got to remove any and all references to alcohol that you have in your profile. Just get rid of pictures and references to alcohol, get rid of it, because alcohol, there's connections between alcohol and violence and alcohol and angst and craziness, and women, it pushes that button of concern. Make sure you don't have controversial or aggressive opinions. You don't want to be too like, you know, I fundamentally believe that all people should blah. If you're too over the top, then women might, again, accidentally think, well, maybe this guy's like this in other areas of his life. When you're going on dates, here's another tip. When you're going on dates, don't pick anything remote. Go somewhere crowded, somewhere busy, somewhere popular. If you get there and you say on date number 1, hey, let's go for a walk out on the trail, then women are thinking, but who's going to be around? What if this guy gets crazy? What if he wants more than I want? So it pushes buttons. If you say, let's go to the super popular coffee cafe, yeah, that's, as opposed to the other sorts of cafes. Let's go to the coffee cafe right next to the train station where everyone goes and it's super popular. She'll feel safe and she'll be happy going there. Make sure you don't have any aggressive or unfriendly looking photos. Now, I know there's research showing that if you're a little bit kind of distant and, you know, moody and a bit disconnected, then there's an intrigue to it. That's cool, you know, be that way. But just don't have any like, sort of that look on your face that makes you look like if you're squinting into the sun because the photo was taken and you're looking in the sun and you're like, then sound effects makes it sound like you're on the toilet, on the can. So, but don't have those either. Just try to remove anything that you think feels too aggressive or too, too. What I want to say is don't make it look like it's a mugshot. Okay. And then the final point I want to make is don't be too pushy, don't be too assertive, don't be too forceful. If on email number 1 you say, hey baby, let's meet up, you and me, I think you're really great, let's go for it, let's meet up. Then potentially it's going to push the, that's too fast, I don't know what this guy's up to for some women who've been spooked and they want to take it a little bit slower. I always recommend email number 2. That's when you ask for a date. That's when you get like, let's make it happen. Because you've had a chance to say, hi, really interested in what you're up to in your profile. You seem really cool. What's happening? That kind of stuff. And then she says, oh, thanks for contacting me. Here's what's happening. You know, I've got a cat and I like it. Great. And then in the next one, you're like, cool, I'd like to talk more about your cat and meet up with you. Let's grab a coffee. So that way you're not being too pushy, but you're still being assertive. So be assertive, but don't be pushy and don't be forceful. And just have fun, have a good time with it and play around with it. So there you go. That's the number 1 top criteria that women are looking for in deciding whether or not to meet up with you on a date. And if you accidentally push the safety button, I'm not sure if I'm 100% safe, then you'll be a no in terms of whether she wants to meet up with you. I hope that serves you. I hope it's useful. And you know what, as I always say, I genuinely, honestly, 100% believe that the perfect person is out there for everyone. You just have to know where to find them.